All right, what's up? We are live, ready to go.
I figured it out.
Okay. So yeah, in this live stream, we're just gonna go over a couple things, a couple of videos I've seen, and uh-oh. Had the replay playing. Yeah, so we're just gonna go over a few videos that I've seen, and I just want everybody to see what I've been seeing. It's just really just a first stream, kind of working out bugs and kind of just figured it all out. So we got a basic reaction stream set up. Guys, if you want to drop something in the chat when you hop in, please do that just so I can double check and make sure that everything is working. When you pop in, drop something in the chat. Okay. So first on the list is I want to go over this right here. Looks good. All right.
Oscar! Oscar! יאללה, אחורה.
יאללה, אחורה.
אחורה. מה אני עושה איתם מהבתים? אין לי כוח.
Alright, so that was pretty small, but basically, these people are bullies, and it was kind of funny the way she made her flinch. But I was literally watching this video at work, and I just kept watching it. I was getting really pissed off, like, unbelievably, just like, it's really just punchable, you know? And here's some other. Oh, check this out, guys.
Ever alliance between the two countries, which will last until 2048 and secure $4 extra billion a year to Israel, as well as forcing the United States to defend Israel from any and all attacks. This would be a NATO-like treaty that would force America to intervene if Israel was ever attacked. That includes from Gaza, which makes sense now why America's building a military base near Gaza, as this deal also sees Israel join the Five Eyes Alliance, which gives them full spying power on the US, Australia, Great Britain, New Zealand, and Canada. And also Israel gets all of America's tech, including the ability to create the bunker buster bomb, something that was unheard of 5 years ago to ever give out that information. And instead of the normal 10-year aid plan, this will be a 20-year military plan, which will double the current 10-year pact, because Israel feels like in 10 years they won't have the support to pass this. The vote comes soon in the Congress and is expected to pass easily. The US and Israel are finalizing the first ever
Okay, so with everything that's going on, and obviously there's much more pressing matters, but they're pushing this in the Senate to go really quickly because with this defense pact, if they ever get attacked, we have to join in and defend them, and also send an extra $4 billion. I mean, this guy covers it really well. So pretty much just wanted to show you guys that there's not much to add.
I'd do it again. I'd fucking do it again in a second.
You can't come in here. This is not your house.
We killed Jesus. We're proud. It's my house. It's my house. God gave it to me. And fuck you.
When they circumcise little boys, the rabbi actually puts his mouth around the penis and sucks the blood. I am not making this up. This is Talmudic Judaism.
The Talmud provides generous loopholes for adultery. It says the penalty for adultery does not include sex with a minor. Simeon ben Yohai said, a proselyte under the age of 3 years and a day is permitted to marry a priest. When a grown-up man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing, as tears come to the eye again and again. So does virginity come back to the little girl under 3 years.
I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who
claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them if a large millstone were hung around their neck and they were thrown into the sea.
I asked my rabbi the next day, why can't we learn about Christianity? Since Jesus Christ is a major figure, couldn't we at least learn about him? He spit. I was shocked. He said, don't you ever use that name again unless you use it as a curse word.
Stop calling somebody who rejects with rabid hostility the message of Jesus. Stop calling them the chosen person of God. Stop doing it. Scripture doesn't do that. Paul explicitly says, outwardly, no. That's not what makes you a Jew. It's an inward thing. It's of the heart. We should see the state of Israel today as a mission field. We shouldn't be saying to you, you're the chosen people of God, you're good to go. We should be saying, no, nobody is the chosen person of God who rejects Jesus Christ as Savior.
So what's pretty crazy about that is it not only shows some of the actual Talmud verses, which talks about, you know, I mean, I don't want to repeat it, but you heard it. But what it also shows is that Jesus already won the war. So it's very easy to get all schizophrenic and kind of lose hope and or be super Alex Jonesy or whatever. But it's important to know that Jesus already won the war. But it's also important to know what these people are doing.
But the word affordability is a Democrat scam.
The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Yeah. But the word
Affordability is a Democrat scam.
The word affordability is a con job.
So that actually came from a recent speech from Trump, and he said the word affordability is a Democratic scam. And it's funny, the meme says, me as president hypnotizing you into thinking the word affordability is fake, right? And there's a clip, let's see if I can find it, of when Trump first ran in maybe it was even 2024. Let's see, Trump promises affordable housing.
Finally, I will save America's suburbs by protecting single-family zoning. The radical left wants to abolish the suburbs by forcing apartment complexes and low-income housing into the suburbs right next to your beautiful house. Right next, you have a beautiful house, and they want a nice low-income building to be right next to you. Finally, I will save America's...
But that was a campaign promise right there. Trump promises 700% price cuts.
One of the deciding issues was the cost of housing.
You know, after 2020,
if you're then maybe you should not live here.
That meme's kind of funny. So yeah, Shapiro and Trump are in the same boat. They want you to you know, they think it's okay that you're not able to afford anything, but back in the day it was a lot easier to afford stuff. So they're trying to gaslight us into believing that it's the same as it's always been. If you can't afford something, that's your fault. But in reality, I know a lot of people that work hard and just can't afford groceries. Like, it's getting tough out there.
Never forget that 1 week before 9/11, the Zim Shipping Company broke its lease that it held for 30 years and moved out of the World Trade Center. Zim Shipping was co-owned by the State of Israel. Never forget that 1 week before 9/11, the Zim Shipping Company broke its lease that it held for 30 years and moved out of the World Trade Center. Zim Shipping was co-owned by the State of Israel. Never forget.
All right, let's do some research on that. Zim Shipping Company. Oh wow. Zim Integrated Shipping Services is a major Israeli-based, publicly traded global container shipping company, known for being an asset-light carrier focusing on niche markets and digital innovation, providing logistics worldwide with a strong emphasis on customer experience, sustainability, yada yada yada. Founded in 1945. Now, what's it? Zim Shipping Company, 2001. In 2001, Zim Integrated Shipping was a major global shipping company that was moving its North American headquarters from the World Trade Center in New York to Norfolk, Virginia, shortly before the 9/11 attacks. The company narrowly avoided the direct impact of the attacks because its staff had moved just 2 weeks prior. So, you know, obviously this is another coincidence. I mean, there's no way they could have known, right? Except, who's that guy, Larry Fink or something? What guy who bought terrorist insurance? World Trade Center. Let's try that. Larry Silverstein, that's right. So Silverstein, through his company, Silverstein Properties, finalized a 99-year lease on the World Trade Center complex, building 1, 2, 4, and 5, from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey on July 24th, 2001, just 6 weeks before the attacks. The lease agreement required him to insure the buildings, and the resulting policies, collectively valued approximately $3.5 billion, included coverage for acts of terrorism, a rational decision given the 1993 Trade Center bombing. Okay, true, rational decision, but what took him 9 years? Why does it happen just 6 weeks before, right? After the tower's destruction, Silverstein filed insurance claims. He argued, this is funny. He argued that 2 separate plane impacts constituted 2 occurrences, which would entitle him to a double payout. So the dispute was eventually settled in 2007, with insurers agreeing to pay a total of approximately $4.5 billion. So he got paid almost $5 billion for the World Trade Centers getting blown up. That's crazy. Guys, I'm just going to double check to make sure the stream is still on. Don't want them to cut me off. We're live. We're still live. All right, we're still live. So on that note, since I guess we're on this 9/11 rabbit hole, let me go ahead and change the title of this. 9/11 rabbit hole. Save. Okay. this is something I can get pretty passionate about. So we got Zim Shipping Company, who moved out, Israeli based, and moved out, what was it, 2 weeks before the attacks? And then Larry Silverstein, who is, let's just say, Israeli based, insured the buildings for terrorist attacks 6 weeks before the attacks. Then, I hope everybody knows about this, but we're going to go ahead and just make sure you guys know the dancing Israelis. Five dancing Israelis. The 5 dancing Israelis refers to 5 Jewish American men detained by FBI on 9/11 for celebrating, filming, and appearing suspiciously happy as the World Trade Center collapsed, leading to theories about Israeli foreknowledge or involvement, though the FBI ultimately found no evidence of terrorism, and they were deported back to Israel, believed by some to be Mossad agents. So, just to clarify, that's Zim Shipping Company, Israeli, Larry Silverstein, a Jew, 5 dancing Israelis. Zim Shipping Company moved out 2 weeks before. Larry Silverstein insured the building for terrorist attacks 6 weeks before. And these 5 dancing Israelis were all set up on rooftops, filming, celebrating, and dancing, almost like they knew about it, right? So there's that. Let me see, I know I have something else here for that, too. Oh, really, check this out. So I just want to, maybe we can zoom in on this real quick. Nah, screw that. But I know you guys can see that. I mean, this was protesters protesting that the IDF had the right to assault, rape, and murder Palestinians. It's called a right to rape rally held by Israeli protesters. So this is the kind of, this is kind of what we're dealing with here. Oh, and let's go ahead and Google 61% Israeli men. What I really like about this, AI sucks, obviously. But what's really cool is when you Google something like 61% Israeli men, it kind of, it helps you get to what you need to see, like, a lot quicker, if that makes sense. So AI sucks, but this is like one benefit, right? So the figure 61% of Israeli men most likely refers to the 2011 academic study, which found that 61% of Israeli men surveyed did not believe that forcing sex on an acquaintance constitute rape. So 61% of men and 41% of women did not consider forced sex to be rape. And I'm pretty sure that's the definition, forced, so. Tolerant attitude. Interesting. Something to think about. Oh, and just so you know, guys, on my Instagram, it gets a little out of hand. So if you guys don't follow me, hop on that. And here's what I want to show you. It's getting late. Tired. was it? Bear with me. There is that. Okay. Got a lot of guitar stuff in here too. Oh yeah, let's go to my reposts. That's what I was looking for. Are they not here? Huh. I guess you can't access your reposts on a computer, which that really sucks. But my For You page is pretty based. Check this out.
Making it legal to call your friends fags.
Oh, okay.
When is enough enough? 50% of first marriages.
Why do so many men?
Better the better.
Oh, that's awesome. So after 3 years with no celebrations, tens of thousands of Palestinian Christians light up the tree again in Bethlehem, Palestine. So one thing that I never realized growing up is that the Palestinians are actually mostly Christian. Like, there's Muslims too, but there's a lot of Christians there. And I mean, like, look at that tree. That looks like, I mean, if you looked at that picture, oh, sorry, forgot, I switched it back. If you look at that picture, I mean, that looks like America. And another thing is there's a video, I'll probably pull it up here in a little bit, but it's of Iranians whenever 9/11 happened, and they all did like a candlelight vigil in Iran and praying for America and like saying death to terrorism, like that's not cool. And then in Israel, it was all smiles, and you know, it's just like, I don't think they're our greatest ally, guys. I hate to break it to you. Explorer. Huh. This is strange. Okay, so if you call Kash Patel's girlfriend a Mossad agent, the FBI will sue you. Multiple political commentators are being sued for $5 million by the FBI. The top comment, Kash Patel's girlfriend is a Mossad agent. Oh, they're all suing it. That's hilarious. So let's actually look at that, because there might be some truth to that. Kash Patel girlfriend. Alexis Wilkins. So guys, a lot of it just comes down to doing research and seeing the connections. So, and also, I'm going to show you guys a website real quick before we get into this. It's called Track APAC. Oops, Track APAC, there. So this right here shows every, right here, members of Congress, candidates for Congress, and then Track APAC's endorsed candidates, but donate to our anti-APAC pack. That's funny. But so look, let's look at the Israel lobby tracker, right? Oh, I haven't seen this yet. Let's go. Well, before we do that, Trump administration. So Trump has approved $14 billion in military aid and weapon sales to Israel, right? February 7th, $7.4 billion. February 28th, $3 billion. March 1st, $4 billion. Oh, and let's read this real quick. 2,166 GBU 39B bombs, 2,800 MK82 500-pound bombs, 17,479 guidance kits for bombs. So, some of you may be thinking, like, it really sucks what's happening to Palestinians and all that, right? But it's not like we're doing it. But we are doing it. I mean, that's 20,000 over just in February 7th, 7.4 billion in missiles and bombs. And then February 28th, more bombs. Bulldozers. Warheads. We gave them... Let's look that up. D9R and D9C Caterpillar bulldozers. Let's look up exactly what we sent to them. So this is the D9. So we're sending these we're sending these to Israel, guys. And what do you think they're doing with this? They're taking the rubble that they blew to smithereens, as one would say, and they're bulldozing it. It's crazy. March 1st. A quote. I have signed a declaration to use emergency authorities. So not only is this this is from Marco Rubio. Oh yeah, because now he's the Secretary of State. So they're using emergency authorities. They're not even going through the proper channels, right? And I mean, I'm not saying that would change anything if they did, because the proper channels still send billions, you know, for like since JFK. But regardless, we're using emergency authorities to expedite the delivery of approximately $4 billion in military assistance to Israel. And that's after we sent over $10 billion in the month before that. Right? And they're doing it, and you can see the way they justify it is the decision to reverse the Biden administration's potential arms embargo, right? And this is not saying that Biden was good, but it is saying that they're going to use what Biden did, or they're turning it so it looks like, yeah, we're screwing over the Democrats, but in reality, I mean, you know, you're screwing over us. The Biden administration wrongly withheld a number of weapons and ammunition from Israel. So, that's so funny. That's a quote, direct quote from Marco Rubio, which wrongly withheld a number of weapons and ammunition from Israel. Is yet another sign that Israel has no greater ally in the White House than President Trump. And then April 14th, 180 million. So the Trump administration. Our latest analysis uncovered $230 million in spending by pro-Israel interest groups benefiting Donald Trump since 2020. Vice President J.D. Vance, and we'll get into Vance, don't worry. But what I really want you to look at is the right side of the screen right here. So $230 million for Trump, $167,000 for Vance. But what you got to think about Vance is it may be only $167,000. You're like, oh, well, that's not that bad compared to $230 million. But we'll get into it. But Peter Thiel, who's on my Instagram, by the way, I did a little something about him. But Peter Thiel is pro-Israel, Palantir CEO, or Palantir founder, not CEO, and founded PayPal too. Oh, look, you can see his face right here, actually. There he is, Peter Thiel. So he groomed J.D. Vance since he was in college. J.D. Vance has had one term in the Senate, and then all of a sudden he's getting picked for vice president, right? He hasn't really done anything. He's vice president now because Elon Musk and Peter Thiel pushed Trump to pick him, right? And the reason why is because, now this is all theory, but hey man, it's Logan. I reposted your meme the other day. You're spreading awareness and information that is much needed. Man, thank you so much for the chat, Logan. Hell yeah. #1 fan. Nah, I really appreciate you, brother. If there's anything you want me to talk about or go over, let me know and I'll definitely go over it. Nice, man. Made my heart tingle. Nah, but for real, so we're going over Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance and that connection, right? And it's kind of weird how it works, but they literally pressured Trump to pick him because the theory is that when Trump gets out of office, J.D. Vance is going to run. And the whole kind of theory is that people like Vance more than they like Trump. You know, Trump's always been very, controversial, right? And JD doesn't seem very controversial. I mean, you know, Erica Kirk, don't get me started on her, but Erica Kirk says that she sees some of the same qualities in JD that she sees in her husband. Seriously, don't get me started on Erica. But yeah, so we'll get into that. But we're on AIPAC right now. Pete Hegseth. So Pete Hegseth was well, let's just actually read it here. Hegseth is a fanatical Christian Zionist and pro-Israel war hawk with an astounding lack of experience. He was confirmed in the Senate by a vote of 51 to 50, with the vice president stepping in to break the tie. Hegseth earned the fewest confirmation votes of any defense secretary in U.S. history. And what really sucks, guys, is I was watching South Park the other night with my girlfriend, and they beat me to it. They freaking they did an episode on Pete Hegseth, and it was really funny. But literally, like, the day before that, I was thinking about doing something about Pete Hegseth because I had just heard about him, you know, and then I watched South Park and they beat me to it. And these new seasons of South Park are actually very, you know, South Park has always been cool, but they're not pulling their punches anymore, which I think is really cool. So back to Pete Hegseth real quick. So Pete Hegseth is called the dude. I hate his name. I hate his name. But he's called the two-state solution lip service and effectively dead, and called ceasefire negotiations blackmail by Hamas. Right. So all the talks about peace, everyone's trying to, you know, like maybe Israel and Palestine can live together. Right. I mean, maybe that's something so crazy. I mean, no one's ever thought of that, right? But just live together, right? But no, because if you want to get technical, at the end of World War II, the Palestinians were there first. And the Israelis came from Europe. They're Ashkenazi. They come from Europe, and it was given to them by NATO, right? They want to say it's given to them by God, but it was given to them by the Allies. And, I mean... Yep, the Palestinians were there first. And ever since then, they've been committing atrocities against these Palestinians. I mean, I hate to get so sidetracked, but let's look up a list of war crimes by Israel. Maybe not Wikipedia. Let's try Israeli violations tracker. Oh, this is most recent. Let's try this. It's not what I'm looking for.
What?
Huh? I'm just streaming. Here it is. Oh, it's so hard to read. Let me see if I can get to it. Oh, and I saw Israel has killed more journalists than all wars since World War I combined, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, right here. Journalists killed since October 7th. And so 56 Palestinians, 4 Israelis, 3 Lebanese, mostly Palestinian, have been killed. And that is not even recent. Alright, well, I'm not going to be able to find it very fast, so we will just... 1 second. One more search. Since 1948? I think that was the end, right? Let's check. Let's see. 1948 Palestine War. So this is right after World War II. They just got the land, and they're going to go ahead and kill all the Palestinians, right? So 700,000 Palestinian Arabs, or 85% of the total population, were expelled or fled from their homes. So the exact same thing that was done to the Jews during World War II, they turned around and did it to them, right? Because I don't want to get into it, but in World War II, it was more of an expelling and less of an extermination type deal. Anyways, directly expelled or else fled due to fear. Between 10 and 70 massacres occurred during the 1948 war. Operation Donny, also spelled Danny, launched at the end of the first truce. The objectives were to capture territory and then push inland and relieve the forces. The Deir Yassin massacre. Zionist paramilitaries attacked the village of Deir Yassin, killing at least 107 Palestinians, including women and children. The Lida massacre, with around 250 people killed, it said right there. 60 to 70 people killed in the Saliha massacre. 60 to 70 in the Abu. See, this is all happening during this war. And if you notice, all these massacres, this isn't like battles. This is them rounding civilians up and murdering them, right? All right, let's 1949, 1955 interwar period. So I could be wrong, but I think interwar means there's not a war officially happening at this time. Israeli forces in 1952 conducted a raid, demolished 3 homes using explosives, deaths of 7 Palestinian civilians, including a 23-year-old man and his wife, as well as a mother and her 4 children, aged between 6 and 14. The raid was purportedly a retaliatory act for the rape and murder of an Israeli Jewish girl. Carried out a massacre on the Burij refugee camp, killing at least 20 civilians. So you get the point. This happens ever since the war, and we're just going to scroll through these real quick, taking too much time on it. 4 years later, 56, 49 Palestinian civilians. You know, they are truly trying to cleanse the area of these people, right? And these people were here first. And if you look at the DNA tests, they're direct descendants of, you know, the people that were around when Jesus was around. They're direct descendants of the Arabs at that time that were around when Jesus was around. I was trying to think of a certain name of people, but I couldn't. So just what I really hate to see is just massacre, 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 massacre. This isn't war. This is rounding people up and, you know, firing squad or bombing. 6-Day War, 1967. The IDF killed surrendering Egyptian soldiers, Egyptian POWs, and civilians. Gabby Braun, a journalist for Yedioth Ahronoth, said he witnessed 10 executions of Egyptian prisoners that were forced to dig their own graves. And then Michael Bar Zohar said he witnessed the murder of 3 Egyptian POWs by a cook. And Mir Payil said he knew of many instances in which soldiers had killed POWs or Arab civilians. Some commanders decided to do it, others refused, but everyone knew about it. The war, the 6-Day War also caused displacement of civilian populations around 280,000 to 325,000 Palestinians, and 100,000 Syrians fled or were expelled. And again, we're getting into some nitty-gritty. Let me just make sure we're still live. Hell yeah, man. I got Logan in the chat. Logan in the chat. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, we're still live. That's cool. All right. Sorry to keep checking, guys. I know that it's very easy to get struck for misinformation and stuff. 1982 Lebanon War. You guys get the point. I mean, it goes on, and this is Wikipedia, but you know, I mean, you could research each and every one of these, and it's true. Oh, real quick, explicitly prohibited under Article 33 of the Fourth Geneva Convention. What'd they do? The firing of live rounds against stone throwers. Moreover, the position of a village-wide curfew and the punitive nature of the raid. Collective punishment. Huh. Potential war crime. Excessive use of lethal force. Guys, if you've never heard of this, for real, look into this because it goes on and on. 2006 Gaza-Israel conflict. This isn't something new. This hasn't been happening. They say it started on October 7th, and that's why this war is happening. This war has been happening since the Israelis got here. Since the Israelis made it to Palestine in 1948. And you call them Israelis, but they're Ashkenazi Jews mostly from Poland and just Eastern Europe. It goes on and on. Let's continue. Back to Alexis Wilkins, Kash Patel's girlfriend. So, let's see. Nationality American. Let's go to her Wikipedia. And guys, if you don't know, you go to... Did they remove her early life? Huh. One thing I noticed, guys, is that they actually, Wikipedia, you know, it used to be every person you look up. Hold on. And guys, if you see my shirt, you see the shirt? Shh, I'm undercover. I'm undercover. Shh. So, yeah, let's move on from that. But yeah, you know, if you
have any viewers?
This guy named Logan, he's viewing for sure. I'm sure maybe someone else has popped in. I posted it on Instagram, so we'll see. Oh, watch this video, guys.
But it's just a stolen name, a Hebrew mask plastered over a European
Oh shit.
exile's face. His real name was...
There we go. Okay, check it out, guys.
They call themselves Netanyahu, but it's just a stolen name, a Hebrew mask plastered over a European exile's face. His real name was Milikowski, born of Ashkenazi lineage from Poland. Benjamin Netanyahu has neither the blood, nor the land, nor the language of those he claims to represent. His Judaism is not that of the shepherds of Hebron, nor the poets of Jaffa. It is the Judaism of a colonizer from elsewhere who put on the prophet's robe to hide the scent of ashes. Because what he represents today is not a people, it is a machine, a political, military, ideological machine, a machine of steel and contempt. Netanyahu didn't grow up on the banks of the Jordan. He grew up in the salons of New York's conservative elite and the ultra-nationalist sermons of his father, Ben Zion, the hardline Zionist historian. He never spoke Arabic. He never shared bread with a Palestinian. He never had to bury a child beneath the rubble of an Israeli airstrike. He is not from this land. He took it. And yet he decides. He demolishes. He signs the orders. Today, under his rule, Gaza is a graveyard for children. Rafah, a field of ruin.
So, as you can see, oh wow, did he really? Someone said he graduated high school in Pennsylvania. And Israel has banned all forms of DNA testing on their people. I don't know if you guys know that, but like you're not allowed to get a DNA test in Israel because it'll tell them they're from Poland or, you know, somewhere that's not the Holy Land. They're not from there. This dude is white. And also, people are starting to wake up towards Netanyahu. But what you don't understand is that, you know, he's just one piece of the puzzle. There's hundreds of thousands of Zionists, right? And so the people that actually believe that they are superior to everyone else and look at the rest of us like cattle, those are the people that need to be stopped. And it's not just Netanyahu. So they're probably going to be ousting him soon. Like Trump's asking for Netanyahu's the prime minister of Israel, and Trump went to Israel and asked, there's a clip of it, asked the president of Israel to pardon Netanyahu. Which, by the way, to be pardoned, that means you have to have committed a crime. So, interesting choice of words. But also, even the terms of it that they gave him is like, if he wants to be pardoned, then he has to immediately surrender or immediately retire from politics and along those lines, so he would not be in charge anymore. But, you know, when you cut off one head, 10 more will take its place. You know what I mean? So Netanyahu is definitely an enemy, but if the world was rid of him, it wouldn't be the end of it. You know, you have to look out for people that believe they are superior to everyone else, right? Who think it's okay to murder children or think it's justified. And also, I want to say, there are people like this guy, and especially you'll see in, well, actually, you might not see because the news never covers it. But there's a lot of Jewish people who are religiously practicing, like they are Jews, and they protest against the Zionists and against the Palestinian occupation and all that. Like if you see this guy right here, he has a Free Palestine button. Let's watch this video because there's a lot of people like him. You know, he's not the only one.
Flight to Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Turkey, to Iran. Iran is the biggest enemy of Israel. There's a beautiful Jewish community of 35,000 Jews living in Iran, free.
So your dream would be to go back to pre-Zionist Israel, the way Jews were living in all these nations. Is that what you want?
I myself am born in Palestine. I'm already 7 generations from Palestine. I want to go back there. I didn't want to live under the Zionist regime. My whole family gone out, like tens of thousands of Jewish people have gone out since the creation of the state. I want to go back. This is my country, but under a Palestinian government. The land should go back for the Palestinians from the river to the sea. And I want to live there as a Jewish Palestinian.
See how he said that? As a Jewish Palestinian. He says he was born in Palestine, not Israel. So there's this game they like to play, the Zionists, where they'll be like, Jewish is a religion, right? Judaism. And then they'll say being Jewish is an ethnicity, which means like black or white. So I'm not saying it can't be both, but they like to play whichever card fits the situation better. And I'm not a big fan of that. And this guy very clearly, I mean, he identifies, but he identifies as a Jewish Palestinian. So that means his religion is Jewish, his ethnicity is Palestinian, or where he's from at least, right? So it's important, like you realize, like all old maps show that. Let's see, World War II map of Holy Land. There we go. Palestine. Right, it's called Palestine. And then here. Oh, this is 1949.
Babe,
What?
did NLE Choppa change his name to NLE the Great?
I don't know.
Who is this person with 20 million followers on TikTok that looks exactly like NLE Choppa?
I'll be honest, I don't really care about NLE Choppa, babe. This is a map of Palestine, or the Holy Land, as you see right there. Ancient city of Jerusalem. So, I mean, this is what it's always been. And it wasn't until 1948 that they decided, this isn't Palestine, this is Israel. And, you know, and I hate how they say God gave them the land, because the United States and Britain and the Allies gave you the land. Like, they were like, you know what, you're going to go here. It goes on and on and on. You know, we were on 9/11 for a while. Ended up on Israel. It's just how it goes. I'm a little disappointed I can't get to my reposts. Oops. Because the reposts are really where the magic's at. I have a lot of stuff in there. That's BS. Ooh, I'll tell you what. Let's
was that 90% of all the filthy, pornographic, and pedophilic literature, the artistic trash, and the theatrical idiocy was being created by Jews, who formed scarcely 1% of the nation. This fact could no longer be denied. It was there, and I had to admit it. Then I began to examine the mainstream press that I used to love. The deeper I probed, the more its style seemed more repellent. Its ideas started to seem shallow and superficial. I no longer was tricked into believing it was impartial. The owners, of course, were Jews. I now understood the language of the Jewish people. I realized that they use language for the purpose of disguising their thoughts, so that their real goals cannot be discovered by what they say, but rather by reading between the lines.
So, you know, you probably know who that is, but that is just a translated speech. Which it is true, you know. I mean, if you look up, I'm not sure what's. I mean, I set my video to not allowed for kids, so I think we're okay. But I mean, if you look up like who owns OnlyFans and who owns, you know, Pornhub and all these different things, like, you know, it kind of speaks for itself. Let's see. Who owns OnlyFans? Leonid Redvinsky. Now let's look up his name. Paste. So he's a Ukrainian American. He's also, let's see, is he Jewish? He is Jewish, right? So, created OnlyFans, which, by the way, is just pimping women out. Like, they're making money, but, you know, I mean, he's pimping them out. He's Jewish. 3.8 to 7.8 billion net worth off of it. And then who owns Pornhub? Oh, let's look up Rabbi Finkelstein. Or not Finkelstein, what's his name? I only know the code. Rabbi Dildo. Rabbi Shmuley, that's it. We call him Rabbi Dildo because he sells dildos. And he's a Jewish rabbi. So he hosted 2 seasons of a reality television series. Let's see. Sell dildos. A store opened by his daughter called Kosher Sex sells marital erotic devices. Huh. If you guys know who Dennis Prager is, Dennis Prager talking about, I don't know if I can actually put this on YouTube, but guys, if you want to look it up, it's Dennis Prager talking about, he was on podcast with someone, and he said, he was asking him, like, do you think it's wrong? Because now there's AI generated, you know, pornography and stuff like that. And there's also AI generated CP, right? And so he was saying, he was asking, is it wrong for people to watch the AI generated CP because it's not real and no one's getting hurt, right? And then the guy was like, yeah, that's wrong. And Dennis Prager said, no, I don't think that's wrong.
I'm here to tell you guys that it is very wrong.
Thanks for that. So yeah, so Dennis Prager, the creator of Prager University, you know, big friends with Ben Shapiro, you know, I mean, practicing Jew, believes that AI generated CP is okay. And everyone here, I mean, everyone in their right mind knows that people that, you know, eventually you're going to want to do the real thing because it's fantasy, and then you want to make your fantasy a reality, right? So just even hints like that is so wrong, right? But that's, I mean, look it up. I don't know if I can put it on YouTube. I don't want to risk it, but I'm serious. I'm telling the truth. Okay, so I did title the stream 9/11 Rabbit Hole, so let's get back into that. Let's actually do it on Instagram. I bet there'd be. I mean, shit, man. Look at this, though.
When we invest in clean energy and electric...
Hold on.
and reduce population,
Kamala
more
Harris
of our
admitting she wants to
children
reduce
can breathe
population.
clean air and drink clean water.
First, we've got population. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps...
So Bill Gates in this TED Talk said, you know, the population is at 6.8 billion, it's headed up to, or trillion or whatever, it's headed up to 9, right? And they said if we do a really good job on vaccines and reproductive health services, meaning, you know, abortion, stuff like that, then we can perhaps lower that by 10 or 15%. So they're actively trying to lower the population on us through vaccines and abortion. His own words.
10 or 15%.
What do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
In substituting humans for
Keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
Please think about what you and your organization can do to help human population decrease.
So, I mean, they say it right there. It's just, they want to decrease the population. But guys, I went over this in my last video. They don't like you. They want you dead. And we're so divided. This is one of my main messages here. And, you know, I mean, Logan, clip this. Clip this, chat. But they want us... Oh, sorry, that was funny. They want us divided, right? So they want us fighting the culture war. You're black and I'm white. You're gay and I'm straight. You're atheist and I'm Christian. So I don't like you, right? That's what they want us to do. Whereas instead, if we would put our differences aside, be like, hey, man, like, hey, you know, we don't agree on everything, but we're on the same team. And then we realize that we really have one common enemy, and it's these billionaire Satanists, these demons that want us both to die. They want us both to stay sick. You know, they want us both to be eating Lucky Charms and Oreos and hot Cheetos and pizza rolls and get sick, feed us medicine that makes us more sick, that we need more medicine until we eventually die. But, you know, they kind of want to keep you in that limbo state, right, where, you know, you're not healthy, but you're not dead. So you just keep buying more and more medicine. You know, that's a good customer right there. So they're trying to make money off of you, and they're also trying to lower the population through vaccines. It's openly admitted, right? You know, these rich billionaires don't care about us. You know, Michael Jackson, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. That is true. Michael Jackson was trying to spread the word. You know, and then what did they do to him? They you know what they accused him of, and all those, you know, people came out and said it wasn't true, but whatever. Stuff like that, right? So keep that in mind. Guys, it's getting late. Let's focus back to the main let's focus back to the main idea, which is the 9/11 rabbit hole. Real quick, let's see what this is. I get so distracted, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, so right here. So this is actual verses from the Talmud, right? So the Sanhedrin 59a. By the way, a goyim is a non-Jew. So like, I'm a goyim. You know, anyone who is not a Jew is a goyim. So murdering goyim is like killing a wild animal. And then Aboda Zera 26b. Even the best of the Gentiles should be killed. Sanhedrin 59a. A goy, Gentile, who pries into the law, Talmud, is guilty of death. To communicate anything to a goy about our religious relations would be equal to the killing of all Jews. For if the goyim knew what we teach about them, they would kill us openly. So they are instructed to lie about it. And, you know, that's convenient, right? Because you can say that, and then everything that anybody else says, we're like, well, you were told to lie about it, right? Now, I will be honest, though. It's hard to find online. You definitely can. But there's also this guy, I'll probably link him or something, but he infiltrated a synagogue and like throughout years and actually got his hands on a real Talmud, and I mean, everything is true. Let's keep going. If a Jew be called upon to explain any part of the rabbinic books, he ought to give only a false explanation. Whoever will violate this order shall be put to death. Yebamoth 11b. So intercourse with a little girl is permitted if she is 3 years of age. So that is what they teach. That's okay. If she's 3, right? And I know it's hard to imagine, but that is, Jews may swear falsely by use of subterfuge wording, meaning that they can double speak, lie. They can lie, they're allowed to in their religion. Do not save Goyim in danger of death. Show no mercy to the Goyim. Whatever with that. I really care more about like children and stuff. Like, I mean, they want us all to die, but there's a lot of loopholes in the Talmud about adultery and child abuse, and I think that's really uncool, and it shows their true character. And I mean, they say they're God's chosen people, but they act like the opposite. If it can be proven that someone has given the money of Israelites to the Goyim, a way must be found after prudent consideration to wipe them off the face of the earth. A Jew may keep anything he finds which belongs to the Gentile, for he who returns lost property to Gentiles sins against the law by increasing the power of the transgressors of the law. It is praiseworthy, however, to return lost property if it is done to honor the name of God, namely if by so doing Christians will praise the Jews and look upon them as honorable people. Also, so this comment here says it really well. What's fascinating is that it's so hard to find this information. It's so much harder than looking up Bible or Quran verses. That should tell you something. I fact-checked the first one and it's correct. I've been down this rabbit hole. This is all true. They will say it's mistranslated or it's out of context, but it's really hard to take some of these things out of context. You either say you can have sex with a 3-year-old or you can't, right? And they say you can. So, and it's hard to find because they are, they're lying about it. It's literally in the book, A Jew should and must make a false oath when the Goyim ask if our books contain anything against them. The Jews are human beings, but the nations of the world are not human beings, but beasts. When the Messiah comes, every Jew will have 2,800 slaves. You guys can look into this. It's starting to piss me off, but you get the idea. And here, let's look this up. So there's a popular saying, and it says, the further you go into the rabbit hole, the more the T becomes silent, which means it becomes a rabbi hole. And so this is kind of off topic, but it's really not, because this shows what type of people we're dealing with. And I'm not talking about all Jews, I'm talking about Zionists. And these Zionists, they don't care about us. They don't care about us at all, and they want us to die. And they will do things like, you know what? I can show you something, actually. Netanyahu, did I post it on my story? I sure hope I did. Let's see. Oh yeah, right here. Guys, check this out.
If the West doesn't wake up to the suicidal nature of militant Islam, the next thing you'll see is the militant Islamists.
So I like that meme because it's put very well in a brain rot way that anyone can understand. But I mean, he straight up. So the thing about Netanyahu is he predicted the attacks because he wrote a book about it, right? And then so that's showing two different clips. And the first clip is basically he predicted it, and the second clip is showing he said the bombing of September 11th, which the main story is it's not a bombing. That's actually like the conspiracy theorists think it's a bombing, right? That's personal stuff. You shouldn't. Anyways, the conspiracy theorists think it's a bombing. And the official story is the plane hit it, right? Or whatever. And Netanyahu himself said they have to be bombed into going to war for us. The bombing of 9/11 proves that, right? So there's a lot of inconsistencies. And like we went over with Zim shipping and Larry, whatever his name was. You get the idea. Look up conspiracy. So guys, I mean, look at these people that were there talking about it.
After, about 10 minutes later, the second building went off.
Did you see it?
Yes, I saw it. It just blew up. A big explosion. People started running. It was just chaos everywhere.
No second plane. It was a bomb. Bomb in another building, not second plane. That was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
That's what we're told. The second plane.
No,
We saw it on television.
I saw everything.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. This is.
The first one went off, and then 10 minutes later, this just blew up out of nowhere.
Tell me about that plane.
Well, I didn't recognize it as a plane at first. It looked to me like a charred piece of metal, and I had thought that there was an explosion from within the Trade Center.
From my perspective, I didn't know that it was an airplane that hit the building. I still thought it was a bomb, and everything I saw told me it was bombs in the building.
And there is the very interesting case of David Hanshoe. Mr. Hanshoe is a professional photographer for the New York Daily News. He took a famous photo of the South Tower right after United 175 supposedly flew right into this wall.
I was underneath it. I was looking at the tower. I had my camera in my hand. I heard the noise. I never saw the airplane.
He had this view. Each image in the flight path is separated by 1 second. David Hanshoe would have been able to see the plane for at least 6 seconds. He would have been able to hear it coming for considerably longer than that.
I had no idea what it was, and then the South Tower just exploded. It just blew up, and somebody said that was a plane.
It just blew up. A big explosion.
Bomb in another building, not second plane.
I had thought that there was an explosion from within the Trade Center.
News reporters at the scene also seem to have missed the plane.
We actually went over the Dancing Israelis, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half ago. But yeah, that was one of the first things I went over. Dancing Israelis. Yeah, man. So, basically just going over this 9/11 just because it's a good baseline, you know, for... If you haven't been radicalized yet, then this is a good baseline for realizing that, hey, these people are lying to you and blah, blah. But yeah, we went over the Dancing Israelis. We also went over the Zim shipping companies who are Israeli-based and moved out 2 weeks before the attack. And, of course, the guy who insured it, also Jew, and 6 weeks before insured it for terrorist attack. We went over all that. Now we're just kind of covering some bases before we head to bed. It's getting a little late. But yeah, thanks for joining in the stream, Sean. Appreciate you, brother. Heavy steel beams flying straight out sideways. So see right there, a plane doesn't do that, you know. First of all, let's not get into the whole jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams and shit. Like, obviously, yeah, but, you know, when a plane would hit like that, and that's also where the plane was supposed to come in, right? That is a bomb. Sorry, you can't see my hand. I'm pointing at it like it's a freaking PowerPoint or whatever. But that is a bomb that literally went off from the inside and is pushing metal out. Molten metal started to pour from the side of the World Trade Center South Tower 7 minutes prior to its destruction. Right? So 7 minutes prior to this supposed plane coming in, it's already, you know, liquid metal, molten lava basically is pouring out the side. That is either not bomb, but like thermite and shit like that, like melting steel, right? Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. This is true. This is a linear shaped charge. It cuts the beam diagonally. Do not investigate 911. Move along now. These aren't the droids you're looking for. There's nothing to see here. Move along. So yeah, linear shaped charge. You put it on like that. Let's look that up real quick, you know, because it's Instagram. It could always just be bullshit, right? Linear shaped charge. A linear shaped charge is an explosive device designed to create a precise linear incision by focusing explosive energy into a high velocity jet. It typically consists of an elongated, inverted V-shaped liner. I'm mixing up my words. It's getting late. But let's see let's see, images, linear shaped charge. What does it look like? What's it called? Aftermath. There we go. Post-explosion. Let's go back to all. What does a beam that blew up using a linear charge look like? Ah, okay, yeah. So a precise narrow cut or hole. You know, this kind of reminds me of Avatar. Whenever they were inside that giant drill that they were trying to drill into the wall of Ba Sing Se, and they were using water bending to like make ice and cut through the steel beams, right? And it took forever. Obviously, you know, a charge is just gonna reel through. But yeah, same concept. That's what it looks like. Just straight slice through that beam. So let's see. Instagram wasn't bullshitting. What's next?
With me.
Yeah, so thermite is what causes molten steel. I mean, that's what I said earlier. You know, and like exactly like this says, the laws of nature don't give a shit about political correctness or what people want to believe. I mean, it's an inside job. Here's a pic from August 6th. Replace camera. Pentagon cameras on 9/11. Ah.
From the garden, from the garden, along the loud tree and town, through the tube.
Jet fuel burns at 1500 degrees maximum. Steel melts at 2750.
With me.
This is a good look. Can this plane really fit into this tiny hole? And where are the remains of the plane, such as wings, tail section, engines, luggage seats, and bodies? What's it called? Comedian Trevor something. He fell off a roof. He was killed, but he went over this. Why was the plane flown in at a few feet from the ground? Why wasn't it dive bombed from above? These are great questions. Why did the FBI confiscate approximately 85 CCTV recordings of the event? Why wasn't the plane intercepted and shot down? What really happened to Flight 77? Good questions. Camera installed on top of the building. Yet you can't find any footage for it. The FBI confiscated it. And, you know, maybe it'll get declassified in 50 years like JFK did, you know. And JFK files declassified, which, by the way, it's probably not the whole story. I mean, but there was something that showed a Secret Service memo or something. Secret Service, Lyndon B. Johnson, someone was talking to someone, and it basically said, the Jews are our new backers as soon as they get rid of Kennedy. And that's like, that was in the declassification of the JFK files, right? So, and that's like probably 1% of what was really in it, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like 50 years later, the FBI would be like, we declassified this because we're the honest, you know. The administration back then was corrupt, but we're the good guys, and we're gonna tell you that they were corrupt. They're doing the same shit, and 20 years later, the next people are gonna be like, yeah, those people were bad. It's like how you keep falling for this, you know. I get the idea on that one. Yeah, Larry Silverstein made. Let's go ahead and go over that.
Off the World Trade Center, a guy named Larry fucking Silverstein. About a month and a half before the towers were hit, he took out a very strange and unorthodox insurance policy.
So you can look at it multiple ways. You can look at it as yes. Sorry, hold on. You can look at it as yes, the planes were what caused it, right? But even so, you have people like Larry Silverstein, who 6 weeks before it happened, made insurance on terrorism, right? And Zim Shipping Company, who 2 weeks before it happened moved out, and these are Israeli-based companies and people, and I mean, it's just and what's his face? Frickin' that famous talk show guy. I think it's also Larry something. Famous talk show, old guy, old man. Old man, Larry King. Pretty sure Larry King, I could be thinking of someone else, but Larry King was scheduled to go to the World Trade Center during that morning, and then went to a doctor's appointment with his wife instead or something. You know what I mean? It's like, and he's also Jewish. So it's like stuff like that. So maybe even, it was, what you call it? It was the planes, maybe it was. But either way, people knew about it, George Bush knew about it. The story isn't what they told you, That's the main thing I think you should get from it. I don't think we should argue on the details very much. I think you should just realize that, once again, it's us versus them. So, maybe it was jet fuel, or maybe it was thermite, maybe it goes even deeper than we know. But either way, the story they gave us is not true. And that goes for just about everything else. And, if you believe the main story after all this time of seeing that it's bullshit, like everything that happens is they're not telling you the truth, then, like, you just keep falling for the same shit. You think that, like, they're not going to ever tell you the truth, unless it benefits them. So just keep that in mind, I mean, this is why I really like the 9/11 rabbit hole, because it's a good radicalizer. It shows you exactly, like, oh, wow, these people really don't care about me. They lie to you no matter what. They'll lie to you over anything. And, I mean, they want you, and then we get into the Bill Gates population control and shit, and it's just like, they want you to die. They don't care about you. They'll lie to you. 9/11's it's a good radicalizer. It helps wake people up. And so you realize that, I mean, I'm repeating myself, they're lying to you. So don't ever trust the main story, is the whole point. Don't ever trust the main story. And, keep doing your research on 9/11. But really, it's gotten to the point where not everybody knows, but if you don't know yet, I mean, you might be a lost cause, but just don't leave it at that. Don't think it's a one-off thing, because it's not a one-off thing. Because once you go to this, then you go to the JFK files, and then you go, well, pretty much every major catastrophe has been for a reason. Like 9/11 convinced us to fight Israel's war in the Middle East, right? JFK was killed because he was trying to, one, get rid of the banks, go back to the silver or gold standard, so our money is actually real and backed by gold and silver. And obviously the Federal Reserve, also Jews, didn't like that. And he also was trying to make sure Israel had no weapons of mass destruction. So, you know, no nuclear facilities. So, like, it's just, it could all be coincidences, guys. Maybe it is. Maybe it's all coincidences. But,
I need a hug and a kiss.
keep researching these coincidences, guys. I'm going to end the stream now.
You don't have to end it.
It's getting late. So, guys, I really appreciate you.
Can I do an outro with you?
Sure. Never forget.
Never forget.
They lied to you. 9/11.
They lied to you.